Today's conversation is one I've been looking forward to for a while. My guest is Bradd Busick. Bradd is someone who I've had the privilege of working alongside and, more importantly, learning from. He's a former healthcare CIO, a National CIO of the Year, a TEDx speaker, and now sits at the intersection of private equity, AI, and real-world value creation. But this isn't an episode about titles or hype. It's about pace. It's about what leaders are missing as AI accelerates faster than most organizations are willing to move. And it's about the difference between using technology to make life easier versus using it to make people stronger. Bradd brings a rare combination of clarity, humility, and conviction. We talk about why AI is not a technology problem, but a leadership and a cultural one, and why healthcare struggles to move forward, and why the future belongs to leaders who have the eyes to see and the courage to act. If you're leading through uncertainty, wrestling with change, or trying to figure out how to build capability without losing your integrity, this conversation is for you. So let's get into it. All right. Welcome to the show, Bradd.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be with you.
All right. You know the question. How do you take your coffee?
I'm an Americano guy. I'm sadly approaching 3 cups a day. I don't usually put anything in it because I'm trying to, be safe and healthy. But when I'm feeling a little adventurous, I'll put some oat milk in it.
Oat milk. Is that really milk?
No, it's not. It's fabricated. I'm sure at some point they're going to come out with a study about what it does to me. But for now, it gives me caffeine and keeps me going.
No, I love that. I think 3 cups, and then I get my first meeting.
Yeah, well, I will cut off. I have to cut off after like 11. So I'm starting my days at this point around 4:30, and so I'm on cup 3 by like 8. So
all right. So if I see 4:30, it means I stayed up late.
Pretty much, absolutely.
Not the other way around.
Not the other way around. That's right.
So it's been a little bit. What have you been up to lately? What's top of mind for you that's cool? What's a cool thing that's top of mind lately?
I'll tell you, man, what is cool is dissecting the hype from what people think AI is versus what it actually is, and how we're actually applying it to real life business scenarios with incredibly strict financial outcomes. And it is literally the definition of show me, don't tell me. And so when we talk about technology, and specifically in the world of private equity, there is an expectation that technology delivers. As a matter of fact, that's part of our thesis going in when we enter into an opportunity. And so it's been really, really awesome to, one, see technology be embraced and not as a tax or overhead, but seen as a strategic capability. And then one click deeper on that, Jason, is the role that AI is playing in helping automate, decipher, and in some cases, full-blown transform organizations and the way that we work. And so I would say the last 90 days has been a baptism in that space for me. And I feel honestly just super grateful to be able to just have some time to get in and learn.
So a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
I'll start with, what was the biggest surprise for you?
The pace.
The pace.
Yeah, the pace. I mean, in this world, the jump from a private healthcare system to moving into private equity, of course, the things that are oftentimes the hardest are the relationships, and I think the trust that just gets built over time. When you come into something that's new, you don't have any trust, you don't have any collateral. You have your ability to bring your gifts and skills to the table. And, it's been a long time since I've been new at anything, and, 6 years at Multicare, right? And so being able to come in, one, the team has just been incredible in welcoming me. Two, the pace that not only we move as a firm, but the technology that we're using. I mean, today, GPT 5.2 came out with OpenAI. Mm-hmm. Wildly different than 5.1, which just had come out, a couple of weeks ago, right? And so we're adjusting because a lot of our workflows and our technology is based on, how mature these models are becoming. And we might say yes to a platform for an opportunity for one of our portfolio companies
Mhm.
or for ourselves. And Jason, the technology displaces the platform with the next release of the model. Like there's no more moat. And so that's been startling. So architecturally, how do you architect in a way that you're not dependent on a specific platform, but rather the capability so that you can swap out an Anthropic for a Gemini if you need to, or you can move to, a certain imaging capability or a workflow that isn't product dependent, depending on which one is the most mature. And so that's been a lot of fun to think about as well.
That's crazy to think about. Um, so on a couple levels. So one, it's a new ecosystem. It's a
Yeah.
new ecosystem for you, and you're the invasive species.
Yep.
You're
That's
brand
exactly.
new to it, and then so you got to figure like, hey, do I sink or swim? Do
Yep.
I do I take over this ecosystem? Is it better for me or worse for me, or is it sort of a baseline?
Yep.
So it's interesting you talk about the both the personality you clicking in because that
Yep.
ecosystem does move at a way faster pace,
Yeah.
super rapid cycle time. But you also brought up a good point about the AI and then which the tooling underneath that all business right now is currently running under, all ecosystems are now having to adjust to, is AI. And honestly, I was looking at the pace of change in AI just from February of this year
Oh,
to, I
yeah.
mean, literally today or just yesterday with the latest version of GPT coming out. The amount of change in just the last 11 months is equivalent to the amount of change I've seen in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right. And what's fascinating is even the fastest organizations that I've seen are like it's breakneck speed. I mean, it's so wild to even like contemplate how do you train the agility. But I will also tell you, it actually goes back to your first statement around like sinking or swimming. Um, I think for your listeners who don't know me, I'm not one to sink uh, at all, and it's super fun to run with people that are faster than you because you just get faster.
Yeah.
And so when you're already fast, it's super fun to actually think about getting to that next level. And then you layer on top of that the actual cadence or the velocity. So check out some of this data that we've
Right.
just been talking about, like even tonight as a team. So when you do like a side by side like release cadence of some of these frontier models, and so like key releases over the last, let's just call it 24 months, which in technology is forever, but for AI, I mean this is
It's the olden
nuts. So
days.
we went from like OpenAI, GPT 4.5, 4.1, 5, 5.1, 5.2. So the average release velocity is 3 months. Okay. Anthropic went from Opus 4 to 4.1 to Haiku 4.5 to Opus 4.5, 2 months consistently, drops every 60 days. Google Gemini went from 2 to 2.5 to 3 to 3 Deep Think, 3 to 4 months on kind of the flagship model, but like optional subvariants, and then you know like zooming way out, if you kind of think about the impact that each one of those has on its own speed, meaning Gemini comes out or and says, "Hey, we're going to go, rock Gemini 3," and all of a sudden that puts, OpenAI in a tailspin. It's a super fun arms race. And so if you kind of like distill all of that, you're literally looking at weeks before a drop happens. And OpenAI right now is the fastest. It's dropping quickly,
Yeah.
but the most consistent player is Anthropic. And
Hmm.
then the most quantum one is Gemini. So for an organization, what does all that mean? The second you learn a platform, it's already changed. So if you're building your capabilities and you think about this idea that like today's the worst it's ever going to be, this is wildly exciting. And certainly you can, benchmark yourselves against like, well, is it smarter than humans? And most of the thought leaders of these companies are like, look, we're going to surpass human intelligence. We already know we're going to do that. That's not our benchmark. We're looking to the next thing that this is going to enable, like robotics that can help, that can
Mhm.
do tasks. And so I would say the most short-sighted thinkers that I'm thinking about are still talking about like silicone. I think the most thought-provoking leaders are talking about what comes next as a result of this capability.
I think that's the key. So we're talking about the pace of change of the technology. So if your business is based on a technology, it's going to cycle you out. You've built in
That's right.
fragility to it. So
That's right.
business is about creating a composable business with the slot for the current technology.
Yeah,
If I need
that's right.
security, it goes here. If I need operations, it goes here. If I need encryption, it goes here. If I need compute, here. Cognitive capability. In
Yeah,
column 1, 2, and 3, you
yeah,
slot it out. And I think the business structure, the ecosystems that are built around composable frameworks
yeah.
are
I totally agree.
they're doing it the right way. It's
They're doing it the right way.
I talk about
I
there's
agree.
like right now we're at an inflection point. There's almost that singularity right now. I don't believe AI needs to be smarter than humans. It needs to be almost kind of close to humans, and then it'll still
Sure.
wipe the floor with us because it can do it faster, more consistently, 24/7, 365. It does not have to be smarter
Yeah,
than a human to beat a human.
agreed. Yeah, that's a fun. I mean, I think that's a really great call. And it's almost a false constraint or benchmark that we've set up. Like, well, now we know that it's arrived because it can do PhD mathematics. I'm like, look, that's for like less than the 1% of the world.
Right.
Can it just classify my freaking expense report correctly? Like, that'd be pretty sweet.
Exactly.
So, I was talking with my son about this, and I plugged him into this little movie called The Matrix, and he immediately was like, "Oh, those are like Claude skills," and I was like, "Those are like Claude skills, right?" Right? Remember when Neo's like, "I need to learn kung fu. I need to learn." All of a sudden, like he was just piping them in,
Mhm.
and these are some of the skills that are being built on these platforms of like, yeah, now I need you to be able to do OCR on revenue cycle data. And actually, why don't you hone it further for any patient encounter that had an ambient listening aspect
Yep.
and see if you can identify this opportunity for charge capture? That is the multidimensional level thinking that I think we're about ready to go into.
I think that's the key. And you're uncovering something a lot of people have not really been exposed to lately. So if I'm going to go to GPT or Grok or Claude or whatever one
Yep.
whichever model I'm going to go to, each one of them likes it in a different way. They speak a slightly different dialect.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
what I think people miss is like, I'm going to take this prompt that worked really well for me over here on GPT, and I'm going to
Yeah.
drop it over here in Gemini. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Well, the very first thing you should do is say, hey, Gemini, I pulled this from
Yeah.
GPT. Go
Help me make
ahead
this
and
better.
tune this prompt for
You got it.
your use case because it
Yeah.
understands its language. It understands its own dialect, and it understands a dialect that us human-based life forms, us carbon-based, don't really speak. Because you get two AIs talking, and it's a completely different language.
You got it.
They
Yeah.
get
That's,
there. So tell me how to use you best for me.
yeah.
It's
For me.
for me for this case. If you understand where I want to go, and so understanding the construct around that is is a new emergent skill. I think not only that is individuals who are native to this right now are really picking up, but I think legacy, we need to be able to teach companies, organizations, and individuals how to shift from doing things to asking really good questions.
Yeah. I think that's so well said. And not only is there a level of probably intellectual curiosity and maybe technical humility, because the truth is, as much as we're all talking about AI, literally no one's an expert because we are truly in a new frontier.
Mhm.
I mean, this is going to be as disruptive, if not more than the internet, because of the actual impact it's going to have to bottom line, EBITDA. Like that, this has material implications for how companies perform and the humans that it used to take to perform it. because of what can and in some cases just straight up should be automated. I mean, there's higher value tasks that I want our staff to work on. And if a bot can do it better and more consistent, then we should think about that.
Well, you mentioned higher value tasks. And I was talking with somebody the other day. Well, what are you using AI for? Well, I said, what I'm using AI for right now is to look at my ticket queue. Go look at
Yeah.
my ticket queue. And I said, well, great, because that's kind of the low value but operational grind that happens. But it wasn't just look at that so you can do more of these symptoms, treat more of my symptoms. It was look at this and extrapolate potential root causes for these tickets.
Yeah.
Then turn that around and give me back, say, hey, you know what? This looks like sounds like must be a, go
Yeah.
investigate a, and
Yeah.
then start building that space in there that we can then start dealing with root causes. And as
That's
we
right.
deal with root causes based on the analysis that a human could do, let's not make this be, I mean, it would just take days and weeks and months and years to notice the analysis and notice those
Yeah.
trends. But if I can like point an AI at it,
Yep.
it does it 24/7, comes back the next day. Hey, next time I try to solve this one problem, it says, hey, you know what? You wouldn't have this if you just changed this on your certificate authority. You'd solve this problem across the system,
Yeah.
or I can keep doing this for you, boss. But,
Yeah.
but
That's
would you
what we
like
want
to
to
solve
do.
it?
And yeah, I mean, that's honestly a beautiful use case of like, I can keep giving you the ticket count, or I can give you the thing that's going to knock out 80% of your tickets. Which
Bam.
one do you want?
Yep. Bam.
But to get to that point, like that required a deeper level of thinking from you to be able to tell it to go and do that. And it feels like the use cases that we're seeing, in some cases, we're just scratching the surface, right? Like I walk down, and it's really interesting again to kind of listen to young minds do this. My son had to go give a speech for an event, and I walked down and I listened to him engaging with his coach, which was AI, and he was wildly direct with it. As he was speaking, he said, "All right, let's do a knowledge check." And I heard the coach say, "Okay, I'm ready." And he went and did the knowledge check, meaning he gave a speech. And then he said, "Give me the evaluation." And the guy said, I think it was really strong. He's kind of, the AI started getting
Mhm.
into Andres' speech. And Andres cut it off. He goes, "I need to be more direct. Just tell me how many times I said, how long were my pauses, and what can I do better?" And it did it. And now part of me thinks like that's a really fascinating use case for, not only what AI could do, um, but in the mind of, at this point, a 16-year-old kid, that's just part of his core thesis moving forward. Like this is how he's going to operate. And he knows that he has a co-pilot built in to go help him with those tasks, which I think is kind of cool. There's a lot of 40-year-olds that wouldn't even think of that.
No. And I think, and historically, people would not have that kind of access. Give me a high level coach who's really versant in this particular type of coaching strategy, in this particular type of technical discipline. Feed it
Yeah,
back to me.
that's right.
That was $1,000 an hour type of executive
Oh, yeah.
coach program with a commitment for a retainer and a long term. I mean, this was a
Totally.
high dollar, high shelf,
Yeah.
top shelf type of item. And now, if you know the right question to ask,
Oh, totally.
it's available to you. And I think that is so incredible. It's
Yeah.
about data. So we always say data is the oil of the information age. Well,
Yeah.
guess what data is now? It's the DNA of
That's
the
right.
AI age. It's built in, it's there. All you have to do is speak and see it created.
Literally.
And
Yeah,
that's
literally.
and
It's
the younger folks
wild.
are doing that. People who are really they're not necessarily younger. People who are open to it in the AI
Well, and
space
I'm
and
glad you hit on the open piece because that is
be
I
open.
think that is the crux. I mean, there are organizations that have come out and just said, like, we're not going to have AI.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm like, okay, well, you're going to be out of business. Like, I don't know any other way to say it.
Good luck with
Yeah, I mean, like, hold my beer.
that.
But I would also say some of this is just, one, I think a lack of awareness of like what it actually is,
Yeah.
and what it actually can do. And it's only going to take someone that is, both, I think, willing to go and try, and or a leader that says, if I don't do this, I'm probably going to be gone, because there's going to be a leader that has this skill set that can come along and 10x my business and my throughput. We're going to start to see those lights pop here soon and very soon.
Yeah, we're going to see movement because of either one of two angels, the angel of inspiration or the one of desperation. And I think the one of desperation actually forces people to move faster. It does.
Totally
Like,
agree.
wouldn't it be great if
Yeah.
I could? Yeah, it'd be wonderful. Give me another,
Yeah.
I want to go watch another episode of whatever. But
No.
I must or I won't have.
That's right.
Desperation in that really moves people towards it. And I think there's a lot of power there. I think when our job, as people who innovate in this space or people really can care about it, is to build those propulsion systems. Look, if you don't do it, you're screwed. But if you do it, hallelujah. How about we just align those two so you move away from that one and towards this one, and then accelerate into the future a little bit better? Because
that's exactly right. And the future, I mean, and even the word the future, I mean, even the word the future is like, it's going to change tomorrow. I mean, this is what's so like incredible about it. And I will just say, like, there's an organizational hygiene that I think goes with facilitating these types of outputs, this type of dialogue, and in some cases, the ability to think critically as a team about how you might like go do it together. So, for example, at Fraser, we have an appointment once a week as a core team for an hour, and it's just called Incubator. Like, Jason Elrod, come bring whatever you've learned in the last 7 days. And Jason's, hey, I saw this model, I saw this tool, this creates this. And when you're doing that with other people that, again, back to the running analogy, are running faster than you, I mean, I literally watched in some cases someone bring a problem that they were having in one of our portfolio companies. They brought it to the collective group. In real time, we all hopped in and started like hitting this model together. And at the end of the time, she walked out with something she could take back to the Portco, and it went live. Automatic needle mover. And it's like, wow, we just solved, in this case, a 7-figure problem.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
It does take a new construct, a new way of approaching things. And I was talking to somebody today about the kicker. I love my finger puppets, by the way. I've been doing this lately.
Yeah, those are powerful. I like
powerful, the finger puppets that are associated with my. But right now we're at an inflection point, and it's that K curve. Because what we have here and what you're talking about is people who are using AI in one of two ways. Number one, people go, hey, how can I make things easier, more frictionless, something I don't have to do anymore, and that I can still get some value out of. And that crowd, what they're doing is they're building a slide into idiocracy.
Yeah.
They're building. Yep. So it's not taking this tool to make your life easier and eventually irrelevant. People who are afraid of AI and they want to make AI and use it that way. Very small little bump of like, hey, I mastered the problem, until like, hey, I just took your model and now you don't have it anymore. So you end up that one half of the population, or maybe probably a larger portion of it, are taking this like, oh, I can use it as a genie to ask for comfort and ease. And it goes down. But it's the teams, like you just mentioned it, the ones that say, great, I don't want things easier. I want to be stronger. So show me, show me how I can work out stronger. And my you know how I love my metaphors.
I do.
So here we go. It's like going to the gym with a partner. And I go to the gym right now and I say, Brad, do some reps for me. Lift the weights for me. I'm at the gym. I'm gym for an hour. I'm going to go hang out in the sauna. I come back and we go on a weekly basis, right? And I'm going to the gym and weights are being lifted. And then 6 months later, the AI no longer wants to go to the gym with me because it's bored and it's doing its own workout. And I'm some noodle-armed wannabe on the side. Versus going to the gym and it's like with Randy Savage, Yeah,
that's exactly right.
It goes, let's get at this. Woo! Or whatever, Ric Flair this into this.
Ric Flair it, yeah, totally.
It's gonna be like, let's lift it, let's make it harder, let's get you in a PR today, let's up.
That's
right. The point is, you're bringing a partner to the party that's helping
Yep.
you get stronger, because the
Yeah.
weights don't get lighter in
No,
life.
that's exactly right. I love
You
that analogy,
you
and
can get
it's spot
stronger.
on.
And people are right now are using that coach, are using it as a partner, a convenience partner versus a capability coach. And I think
I think
we
that's
need to hit
right.
that up.
I think that's totally right. There's a root cause to some of this that I'm seeing, and over time, I first saw it about a year and a half ago when I was in school, and part of the fear around AI was like, I don't want to be caught cheating. And what's interesting is at the time when AI first rolled out, I think there was this almost like, what? I don't know that I feel good about dumping my stuff into a GPT and saying like, edit this for clarity, or write this for me. And fast forward to now, having conversations with people in my industry now, who are like, well, I'm well beyond like the is this cheating? Like I realize A, it's not cheating. B, if
Mhm.
I don't do this, I'm gonna get buried.
Yeah.
And so it's this little bit of like an awakening, if you will. But in this industry, the organization has said yes and removed the constraints. As a matter of fact, our CEO had come out and said every single person in 2026 will be evaluated as part of their overall score in terms of how they've embraced AI and created value for Fraser.
Wow.
Let's go. Like that's what I'm here for. And part of that is you've got now 100 wildly smart brains running as fast as they can with an incredible, like, force function like AI, pick your poison, whatever platform you want, with a charge to go create value. Oh, and by the way, we're going to measure it publicly on a monthly basis. I'm down.
I love it. I have such dissonance with that.
Healthcare is different. I mean,
Well, it's the immovable force, immovable object,
yeah,
unstoppable force situation here, because
yeah,
I believe in the unstoppable force of this, but there's this immovable object. Sometimes it gets thrown up. We have compliance, privacy, and security.
totally.
You know my world.
All
I'm
real.
like, how do we do that? How do we shrink wrap that? How do we enable this in the correct fashion? But because I
Yeah.
think, how do you do it with the right guardrails?
Well, you got to kind of think, which one of these is water, right? Like which is like the most powerful force on
Right?
on Earth.
Yeah.
Like at some point, like does AI have to just weave its way through the compliance, through the security, through the so that it somehow finds a path, but it's also constrained and it's not Skynet. And I do feel like there's this beautiful
Skynet was
constraint
a
in health.
security program. I'm just going to say.
Fair, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. But I do feel like in healthcare we do have an obligation for patients. I mean, these are patients' records. I mean, it's their private information, and um, I don't know that if it was my mom like calling to make an appointment to try to come in and see a doctor, she doesn't care if it's a bot that set up her appointment
Yeah.
or it's a human as long as she can get in. And with the demand that I know that we have in our systems, there are use cases all over the place. Help me pay my bill, get me a referral,
Mhm.
get me into a doctor.
Right.
Let's let the technology do it for us.
I love that, and that helps. Like that helps with the dissonance, because I know there's a certain box, there's certain constraints, but it almost makes me think, what is the, and I'll just pick on the security stuff because that's me.
Yeah,
So
that's
what
you.
is what
Yep.
what's your security? What's your virtual CISO that's going to actually walk with you on this? So maybe I just train
That's
that
right.
up. I trained my
That's
virtual
right.
CISO bot to come out there and say,
Yeah,
hey, you know what? Um, just let it help guide you. Be along there, or actually go out there and audit some of these things and make sure that we're doing things in
I
a
love it.
secure fashion. So not necessarily, and this gets into the conversation of agentic AI, which is gets thrown around a lot, and
Right.
regular AI, because I have a big, I have a current beef with people like, oh no, it's agentic. No, no, it's not. It's just a complicated expert system where you call an LLM for cognitive here and that. That is not
Sure.
agentic.
Sure.
It does not have agency.
Sure.
But I do think there are cases right now where we are going to be able to give AI
No question. Yep.
agency to do that. It's almost like here's the AI manager that's managing these other bots. Here's the AI bot that manages
Yeah.
these bots. And this is where we start, come up with solutions given. And you talked about like, hey, how do we handle like all the tasks? Don't handle tasks. Give it
That's
priorities.
right.
Give it
Yeah.
priorities and objectives.
I
Like
totally agree.
businesses need to be built around that because AI is going to build better process to achieve
Yeah.
those priorities. So it's a different thing about here's our task list, here's our discrete goals, and more about, hey, here's our priorities, here's our mission. It's almost like
Yeah.
I have the philosophy and English major are going to be the new CIOs, CEOs, COOs of organizations because they know how to write the questions and they know the right questions to ask.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I dream about this concept of your virtual CISO. Like,
Mhm.
are we that far away from a virtual Jason Elrod that someone can rent for your expertise, a virtual Bradd Busick that someone could rent? Because I might be going down the path of an ERP implementation, and I've done 7 of those. So I'll put myself on the marketplace, and if you want my expertise, coaching, lessons learned, why would you go hire, a big 5 consulting firm at $700 an hour when you have someone that's done it in a specific healthcare vertical? Like that, I do think we're going to
I
invoke like
like
a
that.
skills marketplace.
So what you can do is you can get a fringe, very specific talent profile
Yeah.
and make it available online. So I was literally talking with somebody this morning about digital twins, verified identity and digital twins, a marketplace almost for that. Like, hey, you go
That's right.
in, they verify it, you have a discrete set of components on it. So the idea is bubbling up, and that idea of like,
Yeah.
hey, how do I have this AI has been brought to you by Jason Elrod, and I approve this message
Yeah.
with a
Yeah. It's
with
gonna
a confidence quotient of 72%. Check your
totally.
sources.
Yeah, totally. But then you kind of get to this really interesting world where um, could you take a digital twin of a Jason Elrod and a digital twin of a Bradd Busick as 2 digital twins, embed them in with another team, and let that dialogue unfold.
Mhm.
Or let the digital Bradd talk to the digital Jason and have people watch it. And how would you actually end at a result where you see, based on the parameters and the rules and the guidelines for those agents, how do you show up? How do you collaborate? How do you get to the best outcome and moving the ego to the side? And I think what's going to happen, because unless they're programmed this way, they do make better decisions, they make faster decisions. I think you're going to see that type of capability come to the market sooner than later. It's going to be the next version of apps to download.
Yeah.
It's going to be people and skills to download.
Yeah, almost like here's a personality framework to download.
Oh yeah,
Here's the
yeah. It's the
personality.
Matrix. We're back to like the plug me in. Yeah, it's that.
Plug it in. Well, I was from the conversation the other day. I run. Of course, you know me. I nerd out on things, and I'll tend to go
Yeah.
down rabbit holes on it. So I've got one box over there that's running one set of LLMs locally,
Yep.
and I've got another one over here that's running a different set. Now,
Yeah.
this one over here is uncensored,
Sure.
unconstrained, and stuff like. But and it's helping me work, and I'm using it back and forth to bounce ideas off for a fiction novel.
Awesome.
So I'm working on that back and forth. So I put those things on it, and so it goes back and forth. This other one over here does a bunch of other regular stuff, but it also helps me work on. I'm also working on a second book, which is career leadership technology focus. This is very businessy, and this one's sort of like the wild child
Yeah, I love it.
on my network. So the other day, I said I had them talk to each other. I gave the wild child access to this rag over here, this thing.
Whoa.
I said, hey, here's some information because it's, it's like it's sort of a
Yeah.
near future dystopian novel. And so here's some stuff that I'm working on back and forth. And it looked at that and came back and says, I came up with a character that I think you should add to the story.
Oh my god.
I'm like, what? What just happened? And so
That's amazing.
I'm like, tell me more. And so it said, okay, this I think this character over here about the actual book thing the actual career book has a slot in here, has a spot in this group or a version of it, basically. So something got sussed out that I wasn't even necessarily thinking about. I said, okay,
That's amazing.
here's some source information, here's some additional details, and there were some
Yeah,
transcripts from some of the podcasts and things in there too. And it goes, hey, wait a second, you might want to consider adding this character, and it
that's incredible.
and so that's now I have Jason Subagent 1, Jason Subagent 2 talking and saying, hey, you know what?
It's amazing. It highlights the ability to look around corners. And then once it surfaces it for you, you have the ability to take it to the next level, like to the next degree of thinking and advance the ball further. And then I could pick up and find another insight. And I think that's right. And I also feel like that's going to be indicative of it surfacing insights for our business that just cognitively we can't think of. I mean,
We don't
think
have
about a
to.
P&L for an $8 billion organization. It's like, hey, did you see that on the third Tuesday of every quarter, this transaction with these 4 zeros is being routed to this one anomalous? I've just never seen that before. Oh, okay. Let me go dig into that. Like the human would never catch it, but the systems are designed to catch it.
It starts seeing those patterns, the signal and the noise that was
Yeah,
always
that's
there,
right.
but we didn't necessarily hear it because we weren't able to necessarily, or we weren't looking for it. We didn't know what we didn't know to look for.
Yeah, I agree. I'd even say, taking it a step further because these are becoming so advanced. I was having a conversation with someone last night about in the very near future, and I'm talking like in a quarter, we're going to start to see guardrails and platforms come out that basically validate what is actually real relative to news, social media, because the fakes are so damn good today. I mean, it's truly like even with Nano Banana. I don't know if you've had a chance to play around with this.
I wrote a
It's
comic today with it for the
it's
for our
incredible.
all hands today. I needed a comic strip for the I was like, you know what? I had it write a comic strip for our
How did it
top
do?
3 for the year.
How did it do? Was it good?
It was good. Granted, I had to get rid of all the strange whatever dialect it was speaking in as it puts the words on there because they're like that's
So
close to a
funny.
word. It looked
Yeah,
like a word, but it did
yeah.
really good. It did really
Yeah,
good.
totally. I mean, Sora. I
Mhm.
mean, we're entering again, like back in the premise of like today's the worst it's ever going to be.
Yeah.
We should be both like wildly excited and wildly nervous because at a certain point, the lines blur between what's fiction and what's reality.
Yeah.
And I'm thoughtful that as a human race, uh, I don't know that a lot of us are smart enough to know. So I'm anxious to see what platforms come out and say, to your point, this is verified by X as a piece of it's real.
Yeah. So let's actually double click on that because I was thinking about like the deep fake item. How do we do it? So we went
Yeah,
to like HTML. I remember when it
yeah,
came out, HTML.
yeah,
Then it was secure
yeah.
HTTPS. And
HTTPS. Yeah,
and so now we're eventually going to have this like, well, I'm consuming things from an audio visual standpoint. So I'm kind of abstracting for ourselves from the pure text data components of the internet. And now I've got this huge potential for disinformation or information or validity or not validity or confidence or non-confidence. So
yeah,
how do we structure that into it? Like, although I joked about it, hey, this message has been brought to you by, but I think there's a need. I know there's a need to have a common framework by which it's
yeah,
HTTPSSS or AS,
yeah, yeah,
artificially secure, artificial AIS.
yeah. Yep.
So that when I actually produce content, let's say this podcast, it goes out and it's got basically, I mean, we can even say cryptographically signed. Did I sign this? It's cryptographic.
I
You can
love
go
it.
check, at any point, your browser will go check, hey, is that really a valid stream or is it a fake stream? And here's the cryptographic understanding of it. So I think we're on the cusp of having something because we already need it. Like, how can I build in a common platform or protocol that can then be
I love it.
adopted across
Yeah,
legacy and future? Because now we have AI browsers. So how can I let
yeah.
the
You're right.
AI browser know, hey, this is valid. Here's why this is certified because I checked their public key against this signing here, so I know it's hashed out correctly. And if it's not, show that nice big reg X up in the corner that says this was not validated. May be true, but I haven't been able to validate it. There's low confidence in it.
Yeah, it's like reading the a DocuSign that hasn't been signed. I mean, if you follow that same principle,
Yeah.
right? Like we all freaked out around electronic signature. Like, well, is it going to stand up in court and whatever? I mean, Jason, I've signed for houses when I've been in the air. Like it's that like okay, I don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah.
I signed a. I'm teaching in one of the leadership classes in the spring at Brown, and I got my PDF today.
Mhm.
I literally didn't even blink. It came over. I saw the word DocuSign. I saw the brown logo. I'm like, sign. I didn't check to see if it had the HTTPS. It had the DocuSign piece. And if it was a phishing test, I would have failed it probably because it was like that accurate. I still have you, sitting here. But I think you're going to follow the same
Mhm.
principle with validated video content or
Validated
validated
content.
it has to, and I think as a society we're used to that like next level of granularity. So the question would be like, who's going to be the DocuSign for media?
Yes. That's the next thing.
It's coming.
Who's the
We need it.
DocuSign to get us out of that space of deepfake? Because if we can't get out of that space, all high value deals have to be done in person.
Well, that actually is where we
Mhm.
could. I mean, maybe this should be in your novel. This is where we could be swinging in terms of like the pendulum going dark.
Mhm.
Of like, unless I can physically see you across from me, and I know you're not a hologram, like that is actually where it's going to go if we can't develop some trust around this.
Yeah.
It'd actually be super cool for you to take all of your previous drink coffee, do cool stuff episodes, upload it to Sora, and see if it can create a deep fake based on your previous episodes.
Oh, deepfake me.
Yeah,
Deepfake me.
on your drink coffee, do cool stuff.
Huh. I think
I don't know. That'd be kind of fun.
well, like I said, that I'm already kind of taking some of those transcripts and putting some over here and some over here. So but the idea of take all, if nothing else, take all the transcripts, put it in there. Say go for it.
Yeah, totally. It's
Actually,
it's a fascinating world.
I love the idea. So eventually, I think we're going to see an episode from Drink Coffee, Do Cool Stuff, where the AI interviews me. It can be the host.
Oh, Jason, not only would it be the host, but you could actually tell the host that you want the voice of Michael Caine. So I mean, there's platforms like now. I was at an event in San Francisco 3 weeks ago, and they had um, essentially all the CEOs from 11 Labs and Anthropic and
Okay, yeah.
OpenAI and anyway, it was wild to hear kind of their version of where Silicon Valley is going next. And one of the leaders that was there was the CEO of 11 Labs,
Mhm.
which essentially licenses voices. And someone said there was only about 80 of us in the crowd, and someone's like, "Which is your favorite voice?" And he said, "Oh, it's Sir Michael Caine." No, when you give your voice to something, you have to license, like the
Mhm.
state or the family is basically saying like, look, it can't go do anything, nefarious. It can't,
Right.
you can't use it for bad. But there is a license that you and I could actually go and put our voice on 11 Labs. And that could be the access center voice when you call the hospital and says, "Hey, welcome to Multicare. How can I help you?" And it's the next version of the IVR.
Yeah.
Said all that to say, tying it back to this world of deepfakes, when Jason Elrod calls me next time, it might not be Jason Elrod, even though it sounds just like him.
Yeah.
Like with that same accuracy, same pitch, same pace.
Mhm.
Like that's how good the voice algorithm is on this platform. It's startling and super cool. We're using it now. Like we're knee deep in it.
God. So what are people missing? What are people not seeing? We talk a lot about stuff that how we're seeing it. What do you think the biggest thing people aren't seeing in this space right now that's going to bite them?
I think you have to have eyes to see.
Mm, okay.
I mean, you need to have the eyes to see it. And in some cases, you need to be a part of an organization that wants you to see it. It's one thing to go to a
Mhm.
JP Morgan conference and come back and be like, "I want ambient listening." It's like, look, we've been thinking about ambient listening for 3 months, but because it wasn't your idea, you said no.
Mhm.
As opposed to having eyes to see and letting the people come and say, look, here's an incredible use case for us to provide better care, give our doctors more time back, increase our revenue, like get rid of all the, overhead that's associated with processing, bills and claims. you have to have the eyes to see it. And I will tell you, in the world of private equity, Fraser has an awesome opportunity to partner with portfolio companies that want to go faster and want to do it better. I will tell you that I've been in enough industries, from nonprofit to philanthropy to healthcare to retail to defense. Uh, Healthcare is unequivocally the slowest.
Oh yeah.
It is wild. It's unequivocally the slowest, and unfortunately, it's probably one of the most important. So, my hope is that that is the industry that develops the eyes to see, and it has more Jason Elrods of the world that are helping push the envelope to discover how we could provide better patient care.
Yeah. I often say healthcare loves to walk into the future backwards
100%.
because
And it's sad.
you just go, oh, I should have seen that coming. Yeah, mother
Yeah.
lover, look over your
Yeah,
shoulder.
turn around. Yeah,
Just look.
exactly right.
That was what that noise was. Those people yelling, "Get out of the way!" Yeah,
Totally. Yeah, that's exactly
you
right.
should pay attention
Yeah,
to
you
it.
got it.
And
Yeah.
I think what I'm hearing from you, and I agree 1,000%, it's a cultural and leadership problem.
Yes.
It's a leadership and cultural problem, not a
Yep.
technology problem. Not a technology.
It's not. It's not. And I'm going to give you a super finite example. I posted about this on LinkedIn. It'd be a really interesting dialogue with other healthcare leaders that have moved over into private equity to compare and contrast, some of the elements and attributes of each culture. So I'm going to compare the elements and attributes of a healthcare system to the elements and attributes of private equity healthcare. So in a healthcare system, when budgets are tight, what do? IT, you need to go cut 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we're already sub 3% of net revenue. Like, I don't have anything else to cut. And as a matter of fact, like in a benchmark, if you kind of scatter plot it, we're in like the lower left. Yeah, but everybody's taking a 10% cut. I literally couldn't think of a more short-sighted lens. Juxtapose this to how we actually do it in the real world. IT, we're going to give you 10% so that you can go say yes to more platforms, more tools, more opportunities to innovate. And then we'll go take out 15% from the other part of the organizations that are underperforming. That is the difference between profit and nonprofit. And even in a nonprofit, if there's no margin, there's no mission. So let's not be, coy about this idea that nonprofits need to at least not bleed, billions of dollars. But it's that level of rigor of, I'm not going to just blindly say, here's a 10% cut because everybody's taking a 10% cut. How about they said, here's 20%. What can you do? And by the way, I'm going to hold you accountable to hitting that value creation. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And sadly, too many healthcare systems across the country are still operating in the 60s.
So what advice would you give to leaders in a healthcare organization to get to that space?
Yeah, there's a couple of thoughts. One, sometimes seeking outside counsel to shine light on the places that are often dark, I think is wildly helpful. Like, we're not wired enough, we're not objective enough to see our own blind spots. And sometimes it takes a JP Morgan conference to be like, oh, that system over there is doing something wildly different. Two, bringing people inside the healthcare organization from outside of healthcare.
I love that.
That is a fascinating experience. And again, this is a cultural thing where you will hear people say, oh, well, he or she doesn't have any healthcare experience. I'm like, yeah, you're damn right. That's why you should hire them.
Absolutely.
Because clearly what got us here didn't work. So I think it's a little bit of that. And at the end of the day, like, this comes back down to just ego and self-awareness.
It is.
And there are so many incredible people in healthcare who are doing it because it's the right thing. They're following their heart. They want to make a true impact in patient lives. And that's why we all go into healthcare. Like, none of us go into healthcare to get rich. That's for damn sure.
You get bamboozled. You show up, you're like, this is going to be a short-term contract. And you wake up, you're like, I've been doing this a decade.
Later.
How'd that happen?
Totally.
Bamboozler.
but yet, like as I reflect back
Mhm.
on that time, it's some of the most rewarding time in my career, and I literally I wouldn't trade it for anything, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. But at the very end of all of this, like we're going to look around at one another and say, um, not how much money did you go and make, or how much
Right.
EBITDA did you provide at Portco.
Mhm.
I think we're going to be measured on did you impact people's lives? Did you leave it better than you found it?
Yeah.
And did you do it without sacrificing your own integrity? And if you can say yes to those things, that's a winner.
Yeah. I love that. Did you do the right thing?
Did you do the right thing? Yeah, boiled down. That's right.
Yeah, did you do the right thing? Everybody has all my leadership has that, by the way, that's the slide that I give them. That's the first slide.
I love it.
So I go,
Yeah,
well, here's your responsibility. Everybody, the folks on my team.
yeah,
So um, uh, it says, number one, do the right thing. Number two, do what I tell you. Number three, do what your job says.
yeah.
And number four, do what you want. If you ever get to
That's
number
right.
four, great.
I love that.
By the way, if there's any conflict, see the
Go back to
priority
one.
list. Go back to one. Go one up.
You know,
Go
it's
up
not.
one.
It's not.
It's
Yeah,
not.
it's not hard.
It's not hard. It's nothing beyond that.
Yeah,
And I think as you make those intentional choices in life, I can do the easy thing. I can do the right thing. Sometimes the right thing is the easy thing. That's awesome. That's alignment,
yeah.
right?
Totally
But
agree.
oftentimes
Yeah, totally agree.
it's not. And you have to have the clarity and the courage to show up that way as a leader in your own life, a leader for the folks around you, leader in your community, just getting out there and do it. Leader in the universe. Your spot in this universe is about
Yeah,
doing the right thing and delivering on that mission and that purpose for why you are here. So do
totally.
it.
Yeah, don't take up space. Make an impact.
Take up
Yeah,
space.
that's
Don't
exactly
take
right.
up space. So how can people connect with you and follow your work?
Yeah, I one humbly grateful for a chance to be able to do this with you, and obviously I'm a big fan of Jason Elrod, the human, and was excited to be able to come on your podcast. So thanks for having me. I'm on LinkedIn, and that is my main venue. I don't know that I have a ton of wisdom to share per se, other than just experience and offering a chance to connect. I'm so incredibly passionate about helping people, and I'm a lover of impact. And so, if that's of value, find me on LinkedIn. Happy to connect with anybody.
And I'm not going to let you get away with that humble humility, by the way.
It's not humble. It's not humble humility. It's truth. If more
Yeah,
than anything,
because
the last
okay, so
90
though
days.
I know you, I experience you. You're one of the most earnest, do the right thing kind of people that I've ever met. And you
Nice.
bring value and you bring energy and you bring cultural change with heart and a whole lot more than just a thimble of wisdom. You're like throwing wisdom grenades left and right in every single conversation I've been in with you. I've seen you lead. You're one of the good ones. I'm just going to say
Oh,
it.
thank you, man. I appreciate you. I miss getting to see you every day, and yet, I'm cheering for you and the team, and I'm excited to see what you do in 26.
All right. Awesome. Ditto. I cannot wait to watch you. Everybody out there, follow Bradd on LinkedIn. If nothing else, you'll see what I'm talking about. Definite good dude. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you. Good to be with you. Thanks so much, Jason. Talk soon.